You guys up. He performs all over the country. He's one of the best comedians. Put your hands together for John Minjo.
Thank you. My goodness, what an ovation. It is so good to be up here. How's everybody doing tonight?
All right.
I'm doing pretty good too. It has been 3 years since I have graced this particular stage. And I gotta be honest, I'm pretty pumped about it because a lot of great stuff has happened in my life over the last 3 years that I'm pretty excited to talk about. First and foremost, almost died recently. That was pretty fun. It was a tough break for me. I was in the hospital behind us, laid up for about 8 days trying to fight off death. And, I got wise. If you've never really felt your heart stopping, you find God real quick. And so I went to the bullpen. I said, get me a priest. And the fine people who were trying to keep me alive said, absolutely not. As you see, it turns out my being granted absolution and eternal peace in the kingdom of heaven did not adhere to strict CDC COVID protocols. And it was a tough break. A lot of people bitch about how the pandemic went. I almost ended up in hell because of Dr. Fauci, so you can sell yourself for. But all is well. I hate to ruin the story and spoil it, but I did make it. I survived. In fact, I just turned 40 here this past weird age, because on one hand, I feel aches and pains the likes of which I've never felt before. But on the other hand, like if I saw a child in danger, I'm going to immediately look for an adult. That's not really my problem. And it sucks because I don't really like my birthday. I've never been a guy who celebrates that kind of thing. There's always friends looking to help, looking to be like, hey, it's no big deal. And they always say the same platitudes. Hey, John, don't even worry about it, pal. You got a long life ahead of you. Based on what information, doctor? Like, this is not a long life ahead of your body, okay? This is an unexpected heart attack in the next 3 to 5 years that definitely should have been expected. And you do not have to take my word for that. You can take my doctor's. Because I'll tell you what, I am racking up bad diagnoses from that guy like they're infinity stones. It's not going great. Not great at all. The most recent one, I particularly love, I don't so much have low testosterone as I have no testosterone, which is a concern apparently. Jesus was not involved, but it's a whole thing. And for those of you who are still young and have the whole life ahead of you, what that means is my sex drive, more like a sex saunter, or a walk, if you will. That tank is empty. The only time I'm going to try to seduce my wife is if my Apple Watch says I'm 3 minutes from closing my workout. It's like, well, you know what, sweetie, it feels like Siri's giving us a sign. Let's see if we can knock this thing out. Probably knock out half that time anyway. But it's funny, when you have low T, the doctor wants to bro out with you. It gets very serious. He's like, hey, I just want you to know something. You are every bit as much of a man now as before I gave you that diagnosis. So, not much of a man. Still. Like, I gave up my man card back in high school. My wife comes home at least 5 days a week to hear me busting out show tunes at the top of my lungs and dancing around. Like, yeah, I'm sure she's looking at that like, what an alpha. That's a man right there. She's thinking, he better butch up before I take him home to see the in-laws here because this ain't gonna work in Central Texas. But no, he kept going on, and he's like, hey, another thing I would recommend is, get a hobby, DIY. Get those hands dirty. Again, doctor, pause. Who are you talking to right now? Softest hands you'll ever see on a man. Never worked a day in my life with these things, okay? In fact, I haven't personally changed a light bulb in over 30 years. And that's not going to change anytime soon because I rent, bitch. Okay? Real men, real alphas like myself know that when the going gets tough, the tough call maintenance. And when you do, you don't just have them change that light bulb. That's not alpha. Alpha is you manage them as they change the light bulb. I lean in as I'm drinking my coffee like, how did you? Oh, counterclockwise to get it out. That's good, man. That's really, really smart. Obviously, I won't be tipping because I rent, but gracias. Appreciate it. Yeah. The saddest part is that is 100% true. But it's really tough. And then he got very serious with me at the the end, I think he was tired of me not taking it seriously and was like, John, I'm going to be honest with you. With this diagnosis and some of your underlying symptoms, I don't think you're ever going to be able to have kids with your wife. And I said, God, why did you bury the lead like that? That's fucking fantastic news. That is great. We should go out and get a drink. One of 2 drinks I have a week, if you remember from writing that down earlier in our assessment. It's one of those things. I got a dog this year, and that was made very clear to me that I should never be a father. Because this little precious angel, 99% of the time, is perfect. She's wonderful. But that 1%, I go from 1 to 100 so damn fast it's scary. In fact, I'm throwing on a Michael Vick shirt, just staring at her when she's like, we're about to learn today. I didn't really put her in a dog fight. It's fine, and she would have won anyway. But before I leave you, I should probably note, because I can see a lot of concern, I have started therapy recently, which is good, and even more recently stopped therapy, which is even better. Not my fault. My therapist was definitely phoning it in. Wasn't putting in the effort. 4th session, I go in, I got deep. I went real deep. Depression, existential crisis. Briefly came up I was Catholic. Only thing this woman had to say to me at the end was, well, considering what you're going through, maybe a return to the church and your faith can be helpful. I'm sorry, but did you just punt my problems to God? That feels like an aggressive escalation for a 4th session. And last I checked, the Almighty, he doesn't take Blue Cross Blue Shield, so I'm going to talk this shit out. What do you think about that? Thank you all so much.